Hi, this is Kalyan from Solution, and you're listening to my audio article series. The topic of this article is Why is an act of evil an illusion? Part 2, Disposition, Philosophy, Foundation, Nature Cure. To explore my articles, you can visit the notes section of my Facebook page, fb.com/getscisolution, or click scisolution.co.in for direct access. The voice of the organism actually talks about the uniqueness of the responses by each organism. It eventually converges to the idea of freedom. Encroachment of the freedom is suppression of the voice of the organism. Suppression is anti-nature. Let that be any kind of suppression it may be. We justify a lot of suppressions in the names of discipline, enforcement, and punishment. We need to understand that these are just symptomatic suppressions, not cure. The justification of these suppressions is generated primarily due to the idea of evil. If we emphasize and exaggerate an illusion, that creates a deep impression of augmented reality. Then we suffer from different irrational acceptances in life. To clarify further, I shall take 3 examples of impositions of different categories: ban liquor, ban beef, hang the rapist. In all these 3 areas, be it consumption of alcohol or eating of animal flesh or the incidences of sexual abuses, are undoubtedly against the recommendations of nature cure. But I shall play a devil's advocate for these impositions under the light of true freedom versus suppressions. Ban liquor. Recently, there was a news about ban of liquor in one of the states in India. It means alcohol selling is banned in that state. The government imposes a ban to help people to get rid of alcohol. Could it really achieve the objective? We came to know a lot of loopholes in the executions of ban, which is obvious. Suppression surfaces in forms of different aggravated chronic symptoms. We know it in nature cure. The same thing happens here. If we ban anything, it creates attraction. Dialectic is neglected in the process. Dialectic is about awareness. If the government would have emphasized on the active awareness of alcohol consumption without imposing a ban, it would have been more impactful. It may take longer to achieve the objective, but it is potential of creating collective awareness about the conscious choices. Alcohol creates an artificial substance influenced state of mind which is similar to the pleasurable state of mindful consciousness. The real mindfulness boosts the creativity and alertness. Substance-induced trance state confuses the mechanism of the body and the mind, and it invites health issues. It is nothing but a way of cheating yourself. If this education of self-cheating is transparently spread amongst the masses using different pedagogical approaches, the impact would have been much more sustainable. Ban beef. This is another recent execution of banning food choices which drew unfruitful mass attention. In this case, also, there are questionable loopholes in the execution, which is obvious. Dialectic is neglected here too. Consumption of beef is indeed a harmful choice for mankind. Categorical analysis of the impacts of simple food in relation to the vitality management should have been emphasized instead of banning the food choices. Imposition of the ban do not sustain, and it impairs the idea of freedom. Hang the rapist. I am aware that this topic would raise a lot of questions by the readers. But let's face it, what could be the objective of punishment? Other than the revenge satisfaction of the victim, it could be to set an example or for the correctional measures of the criminals. The sense of revenge is a superstition. The victim should be supported with a stable emotional and social acceptance than to the irrational satiation of the revenge. The revenge can never soothe the victim at the core. It stays unsatisfied because the beyond conscious mind actually seeks correction, not destruction. Setting an example is another illusionary assumption. Human intellect never gets reformed with the examples of enforcement. It always finds a way to overcome it unless convinced about the ill effect on self. If the objective of punishment is correction, then capital punishment holds no water. Correction is a critical initiative and it cannot be executed by enforcement of death. The true culprit of sexual abuse is the irrational sex education. Sex is unnecessarily exaggerated with its pleasure quotients. The difference between irresponsible sex and responsible sex should be included in the education system. The meaning of rape, reproduction, procreation is to be consciously taught to the mass of people. It should explicitly include the ill effects of sexual abuse on self. The responsibility for the sex lies in the idea of procreation. If the procreative association does not exist in a sexual relation, then it leads to health hazards physically and mentally for the people involving in it without responsibility. The procreative relationship is highly pleasurable. Emphasizing this education would lead to a reduction in the misconceptions about sex considerably. The sex criminals suffer no less than the victim mentally and physically both. It is a reality. The solution lies in education, awareness, and conscious choices, and in ultimate mindfulness. The encroachment of freedom in any form does not bring the desired result of the reduction of ill habits and irrational thought processes. Convince and do not control is the answer. Thank you. Disclaimer. This copyrighted article is written under the light of true nature cure practice and does not align with medicinal practices. It is an educational endeavor to explain that the real cure is achieved from within. The individual should consult a competent health practitioner to clarify the doubts regarding health.